You already know my name. I'd like to find out your names. Could you tell me what your names are?
Dennis, Michelle, Michael, Jenny.
Okay, we're going to do some talking today. We're going to do some problems. I want to find out how you think. Now, I know that we're all a little bit concerned about the cameras, but let's see if we can forget about it and just talk to one another. Okay? You're coming now from school. What are you missing?
Well, we're missing our library period.
No, we're not. We're I don't miss it.
How do you feel about leaving school in the middle of the day?
Oh, it's all right.
Well, that depends upon
We
the
just got from
subject
a
we're
test
having.
from the library,
No,
so
we're
we're
not
having
playing.
reading.
We're not
I don't
doing
want
play or reading or anything special, so it's okay.
If you were
I don't
missing a play or reading?
Yeah, that wouldn't be because I have the main part.
Oh.
Yeah, so do I. But
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter.
we're not
It
gonna
doesn't
go
matter
places,
because
you know.
everybody knows their part. And this is different. This
Hal
is
has the main part
unusual,
and he's absent,
so it doesn't
so.
matter.
Yeah, and
Everybody
Neil's
thinks Hal
absent.
isn't good at it.
Let me ask you this in general. How do you feel about school?
Well, I know that I say I like to look towards vacation and everything because that's when everybody else is home also. But if, say that I'm absent or when everybody else is in school and I'm out of it, it's very boring because there's nothing to do. So actually, I like school because, well, it depends. Sometimes I'd rather not be in school, but usually it's all right because you're in social activity and it's not isolated.
I see.
Well, in a way, I like school, too, because when I learn something new, I get a feeling of accomplishment, and that makes me happy.
Accomplishment is very important, yeah.
Oh, I like it because if you stay home all day, you feel like you're not accomplishing anything. But if you go to school, you learn new things in all different kind of subjects. And if you stay home, well, it's no accomplishment.
Why did school?
Did you want to say something, Dennis?
No, I don't have anything to say.
Okay.
Well,
I like school. Well, it's the root of everything. If most everybody who has important jobs went to school and learned how to do the job.
Well, actually,
Important.
I think that if you could stay home and you could read all the books, you're allowed to go to the library and all that. And long ago, many of the accomplished men, many men were accomplished just by that way. And I think that if baseball and all of those things weren't brought up now or weren't played and weren't paid so much attention to, people would actually learn much more out of school, and like school.
Okay, good. Now, you're all in the 4th grade, is that right?
Yes.
And you're all about 9 or 9.5 years old?
Yes.
Okay, good. What I'm going to do is tell you a story that has a problem in it. I want you to listen to the story, and then I'm going to ask you some questions about it, and then talk. You don't have to raise your hand. Just go ahead and speak about the question I ask you, all right?
Yes.
Okay. This is the first one. I'm going to tell you a story about a boy who liked very much to help his mother in the kitchen. His mother had told him many times that he should not touch the sharp knives. But one day when he was alone in the kitchen, he started to touch and play with one of the sharp knives and he cut himself. Now, I want you to think carefully about these questions. Do you think he would have cut himself if his mother had not told him so often not to play with knives? Or what would have happened if his mother told him that he could have played with the knives? Would he have cut himself anyway?
Yes.
What do you think? Why?
Oh, well, if his mother didn't give him a warning,
Mm-hmm.
then she wouldn't be as mad at him.
Uh-huh. She would be less mad at him if she didn't give him a warning. Anybody else have any ideas? Go ahead.
Well, it's because if she hasn't given him the warning, and he said, well, she wouldn't care, you know, and when he cut himself and her mother saw it, she wouldn't say, well, I told you not to, and she'd punish him more and hit him more, you know, and tell his father. And
Once she told him.
yeah.
Well, if she didn't tell me, he could have played with the sharp knives before, and he could have cut himself more.
Yeah.
Okay, now tell me, what should his mother do because the boy disobeyed him? What do you think she
Punish
should do?
him.
How do you think she should punish him?
Well,
Just,
take away all his good things that he does, like play
He lies.
sports, watch TV.
She should not let him out for a week and let him not watch TV or any
Go to sleep early.
Yeah.
How long, you said a week, how long do you think she should do that?
2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Because he'll do it again.
I mean,
If,
the
you
longer
know,
she punishes him, the more likely he won't do it again. Okay? Is that what you think?
Yes.
Okay. And why do you think he got cut in the first place?
Well, because he wasn't listening.
He disobeyed his mother.
Okay, fine. Now I want to ask you a different kind of question. Maybe this applies to some of you, really. You've wanted to be a monitor in a school for a long time, a monitor or a guard. And this particular morning you were informed by the teacher who's the head of the guards and the monitors that you were going to be a guard starting that afternoon at 3 o'clock. And you're very happy and very excited about it. And early that afternoon, the teacher is doing an arithmetic lesson in school. And she's writing on the board. And all the children are busy copying down the problems. And you happen to look up just in time to see a boy throw a spitball at the teacher and hit her on the neck. She turns around and she's very angry and she asks who did it. And nobody saw it except you because everybody else was working. And nobody says anything about who did it. And the teacher says, well, she says, if nobody confesses, I'm going to keep the whole class in after school for 1 hour. And even if you have a job to do, as a monitor or as a guard, you will not be allowed to do it. You look around and you see that the boy who threw the spitball has no intention of confessing, and you very much want to be a monitor. What would you do?
well, you tell. You can tell.
I'd say it's not nice to tattletale.
Yeah, but if he really wants to be a guard or a monitor, then he would tell because he wants to get there on time and do it.
And also, if let's say the teacher did find out, then she would most likely punish him more for not telling the truth the first time, not admitting it.
How would she find out?
If she did find out, then after the hour was up and the boy confessed, then everyone would stay late, and maybe he would even lose his job because he was late. And it was his first time.
So you think he should tell?
Yeah.
Anybody else? What would you do?
I don't know, really. I'm not a guard yet, so I don't know.
Do you want to be a guard? Well, here's your chance. I just told you I'm the chief of all the guards, and I just told you that you could be a guard. And here's this thing that happened, and you have to stay in an hour late. What would you do?
Make the person who threw the spitball confess.
That's an interest. How would you do that?
Yeah, but there's no evidence that he really did it. You can't. There's no proof.
But his eyes saw it with his own 2 eyes.
Yeah, but there's no proof to he could be lying.
The teacher might think that since he told them, maybe he did it. Yeah,
that's right.
that could
You
happen.
mean if he tattled on this boy, the teacher would think that
Maybe
the
he
guard
did it.
did
Yeah,
it
maybe
himself?
he's tattletaling on another person, but he wants to get it out of his system.
Yeah, and tell it that someone else did it, and really he did it. So you get out of it.
Well, you suggested something that's interesting. You said, get the boy to confess. How would you go about doing that?
Like, tell him that you're going to tell the teacher that you did it, and
But if nobody else saw it,
That's right.
then how are you going to have any evidence to prove it?
But he just became a god, and they could always believe him more than believe if another person tells, because he's a god.
You don't know if he's telling the truth, even now.
Problem. What do you think the teacher should do in such a situation? Here
Well,
she just got hit on the neck with a spitball, and she makes this ruling.
Send a note home to his mother or ask the mother and father to come up to talk.
He could. What's that word?
Which mother? The mother of...
The mother of the person who did it.
Oh, if she finds out.
What's that word again? Keep him out of school for a few days. I forgot what that word is.
Expelled.
Suspended.
Yeah, suspended.
Suspend the child who did
Yeah.
it. What else should the teacher do?
I don't think she should really suspend her because she just got hit on the neck, and she can either leave him back or, you know, or tell his parents, and his parents will do something about it. But I don't think she should suspend him.
I think she should write a note home and the parents have to sign it. I don't think she should leave him back because one thing in the term, he could be very smart the rest of the term. You wouldn't really know.
And maybe that was the only time he ever did something bad. Maybe he was, you know, good
He was
in
good in
class,
school.
and that's just, you know, got into him. He just did it.
Maybe. Those are very good ideas. Let me ask you another one about school. You're a pretty hard-working pupil, and you don't like to do homework, but you do it anyway. When you come home from school, either you do it first, and then if you have time left, you go out to play, or you watch TV, or you come home and you play and you watch TV, and then you go out, and then you come in and do your homework. And one day you come to school after you've done your homework the night before, and you notice that the girl who's sitting next to you looks pretty unhappy. She looks real upset, and you think you know why, because she's the kind of girl who almost never does her homework. And after you've been sitting there for a while thinking this, she leans over to you and whispers and says, "You know, I didn't have a chance to do my homework. I wonder if I could copy yours this morning quickly before the teacher comes and collects it." What would you do?
I'd say
Well,
no.
I wouldn't let her.
I would
Because
just...
it's her responsibility.
Really to do it.
She doesn't have to watch television. And like my mother does, my mother always checks my work.
My mother
Oh, my
says work
homework.
comes first. My mother says work comes first, then you play. Then, you know.
So you would not do it, let her look at it.
No.
I would give her the homework and then let her do it on her own.
How do you mean? I don't understand.
Like, give her the homework if she don't have it, and she has to do it on her own. Like, she'll have extra homework for the next night, because she has to make up for it.
Yeah, but then the boy would be losing his homework. Actually, he'd be giving it to her. And if he got a wrong homework, the wrong thing, then the girl and the teacher would get kind of suspicious.
No, I mean, what you have to do, like, say you have to do a math page, like, give her the page number and let her do
Oh,
it
she has
herself.
the... I see
She
she
has
has
it already, but she didn't just watch television. You know,
She didn't do it.
Played. She didn't have a chance to do, but she really did.
I think it's the mother's responsibility because she should get after her child to do it.
How about if she told her mother she didn't have any homework? She was lying. She could have lied.
So she could find out.
How?
She could call somebody.
Yeah, but...
Suppose she had it. She did have the homework. Then what would you do? Would you let her copy yours?
No.
No.
Why wouldn't you let her copy yours?
Because, it's her responsibility. She's supposed to do her homework. I'm not supposed to give her the answers. And suppose I get mine wrong, and she has the same answers as me, or say I got all mine right. Then the teacher's going to get suspicious. Same exact answers. And also can make a difference on the report card. And then the teacher is going to say to you, who copied, and nobody's going to answer. And if that other person says, she copied, he doesn't have no proof.
And if the teacher saw that she was copying, you know, let's say the paper was here, like outside, and she was copying it on, she'd ask, and then then she'd put a 0 on all the papers, and his name would be on it. So she can see that whoever copied it.
I see.
And like you said before, I think, she didn't do her homework a lot of times. Because then the teacher would probably know that she copies the homework.
That's right, because she never does it. She's not used to the work, and you know, she actually...
She wouldn't be able to do it well anyway.
No, she wouldn't be able to. If she saw she got 100, because the other paper was 100, the teacher would really think of something, you know.
And
She just wouldn't believe it.
And also, if she would say, when she copied, after she copied, and the teacher would ask, you know, did anybody copy? And she would say that the boy copied from her, then they both get in trouble. But meanwhile, she really copied from him.
She could be lying.
Yes, I want to ask you another one about homework now. It's a little different. This is a day when you're really pretty annoyed at your teacher. And the reason you're annoyed is that she gave you a great deal of homework. She gave you a great deal of homework on a day that you planned to spend some time with your friends after school doing something that you like to do very, very, very much. It was a very special plan. And you felt really that you wouldn't have time to do all that homework and also do this very special thing. But as you think about it, you figure out that maybe you would have time, and you're going to try to do both. But when you get home to bring your books home and leave them there, your mother asks you whether you have a lot of homework. And you know that if you tell her, she'd say, stay in and do it. You very much want to do this special thing. What would you do?
Well,
What would you say to your mother?
I tell her the truth.
Yeah, because she'd look in your books or your assignment book, and if she saw that you did have homework and the date was on it, it said, you know, today's date, then she'd really get mad when he came home. And let's say if he had a special thing to do tomorrow again, she wouldn't let him go, even if he didn't have any homework that day.
Couldn't this person postpone
delay it. Delay it.
Delay it to another day.
Yeah, but in a way he
Well,
may
not
not do it.
But it really depends on what it is.
Well, it's a very special thing.
Well, they wouldn't postpone it just for one person. If it was a lot of, you know, a group like, then they postponed it.
All right.
But one person.
What would you say to your mother? You said you would tell her the truth. What would you say?
I'd tell her the truth.
How would you feel about missing this special thing?
I feel embarrassed, because if you told everybody, I'm sure I'm going to be there, and then suddenly you don't show up. The kids...
You might feel embarrassed. How else might
And
you
they
feel?
threaten you that you can't play with them anymore.
Yeah.
You always break your day.
Can't play the sports with them, you know, and
Whatever it
that.
is.
What else might you feel? Anything else?
I agree with Sherry.
And you would all tell her the truth. Okay, fine.
Tell you what I'd like to ask a little bit about. You know, when you get to be your age, you're getting pretty close to getting to be an adult. And people say that boys and girls your age have a lot of things that they worry about, a lot of things that, you know, they're troubled by. What would you say that most kids your age have as things that bother them, or problems or troubles or whatever? I don't mean big ones, but
from my experiences, from my friends' experience, I find that usually in a class there's a clique, and then there's always one person left out, and they tease this person, they ridicule them, and I think that in itself is a big enough problem. And then I also think that when boys and girls want to start dating and their parents won't let them, or they want to go away and their parents won't let them, they they object to it, but what can they do?
So that sometimes it's a problem if you're one of the people who are not accepted into a group where they tease you and so on. It's also a problem as you're getting older and you begin to get interested in boys and girls and you want to go out and your parents. Why do you think it is that parents object to kids going out?
Well, I think well, I know some of my friends of 13 and 14 want to go out now, and I don't think it's right at this age to go on a single date, but I think the parents object because they are so young and they're afraid that starting so young may lead into other things.
So parents worry that if you start young with dating, this might get more involved as time goes on.
Yes.
You think that most girls of your age are interested in boys?
I think so.
Think that most boys your age are interested in girls?
The boys I know are.
Are your girlfriends and you interested in boys your age or boys older than you?
Well, I know that I am in a group with boys and girls, and the boys and girls are about my age. There are some boys older, and I think that if a boy that's older, like a 16-year-old boy would be interested in a 14-year-old girl, I think that she would like that, very much, say that he's older than I am and he's interested in me. So
why would she like it so much?
I think she'd feel flattered.
That an older boy would be interested in her?
Yes.
Do you think an older girl being interested in a younger boy would flatter the younger boy too?
I think it might, but I never had the experience.
You never were interested in a 12-year-old boy, I gather.
No.
Well, how serious should boys and girls your age be? There are so many things in life that are important, and parents are always saying, boys and girls, all they're interested in is talking on the telephone and dancing, and music, and rock and roll or something.
Well, I really don't know how to answer that, because I think that boys and girls our age shouldn't try to grow up, and they should still realize that they're not adults yet, and they should get the fun that a child can have while they have the time.
Well, do you think that they should be interested in what goes on at the UN, what goes on at Congress?
Well, I know I'm not really interested in it. I couldn't sit down and listen to a report on television, but to know the situations and to know how bad or how good they are, I think that is all right to know or should be known.
If we were to ask most of your girlfriends, what do you think of what's going on in Vietnam? Do you think they'd know what's going on in Vietnam enough to talk about?
I don't think they know enough to talk about it. I think they could say that there's a war and they don't like the idea, but I know myself, I don't even know enough to talk about it.
Do you think there are some kids your age who are very interested in these things?
Yes, I do. I think, but more so boys than girls.
Really?
Yes, I know. Like in my social studies class, there's one boy, he knows everything that's going on. He has a conversation with the teacher about the current events.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I guess he's just concerned about what's happening.
But he sounds a little different from the rest of you.
Well, I don't know.
It's an oddball, huh? Sort of. What about you? When you, I don't know that you choose friends, but you develop friendships, what do you think you look for in friends?
Well, a true friend is somebody that's not going to turn on you, and somebody that will think about you and not only himself.
And so when you look for friends, you look for somebody who will be loyal to you?
Well, I guess that's one quality, but I look for somebody with a nice personality, and I know I have a friend now, and we aren't very close friends. We're pretty friendly, and she has this one friend. They're very, very friendly. But now she seems that she's interested in another group of children, and she just seems that she's just leaving her friend, and I don't agree with that at all. I think that's mean.
if you met some girl who was very interested in current events, but not interested in boys and dancing, do you think you could become real friendly with her?
I think I might if we had something in common. I mean, if we were exact opposites, well, maybe she could learn from me like as I would learn from her.
What if she didn't fit your ideas of honesty or morality or anything like that?
Then I doubt we could become very good friends.
You said a while ago that parents have a problem with this bit, or rather what you said is the kids your age have a problem with parents who won't let them go out and so on. What happens at home when boys and girls your age do something wrong, you know, if they disobey or forget to do their homework or bring in a rotten report card or something like that? What happens?
Well, if they bring in a bad report card, I know my friends had some of these experiences, and their parents just limit their social activities and say you'll have to stay home and study. And when they disobey at home, they get punished, I guess.
How?
Well, they limit their social activities. They say you can't go out, or they limit their time talking on the telephone, or they won't let them talk on the phone, or they just say that that if this happens again, you'll feel sorry.
And what do you think they mean?
I don't know.
If a boy or a girl your age says, "You can't make me," to parents, what do you think happens?
I think the parents show them that they can, because if a parent says that you're not going out, the child goes out, I think they can only develop into more trouble.
Do you think that boys and girls your age should obey their parents all the time, or part of the time?
I think they should obey them. I know that I couldn't say that I'm a perfect angel and that I always do, but I think they should.
When do you, like not obey?
Well, I can give you a specific example. The other night I wanted to go out, and my mother said that I shouldn't go because I wanted to go to my friend's house, and her brother had asked me out, and I told my mother, and she says, well, I don't want you going there because he's only after you, and we had an argument. I said that he wasn't, and...
What did she mean he's after you?
Well, she was afraid that I would start going out with him behind her back, or that he would start coming to me, and she didn't want me to get involved. I guess it was different religions, and that he was a couple of years older than I am.
So she was hoping that you wouldn't get too involved, and this would be one way of doing it, huh?
I guess so.
Well, when you and your mother or you and your father get into disagreement, is there some yelling, or is there just looking at one another? What happens?
There's some yelling.
Do you yell? Yeah.
Well, I guess my mother does most of it.
Oh. How about with your father?
I don't know, he just has a strong voice, so you have to listen or...
You don't yell back at him?
No.
Yell back at your mother?
Not really, I just get very excited.
Who do you think in general is, not in your family necessarily, but what do you think it is about families? Do you think that the fathers or the mothers tend to be the more dominant person in the home?
Well, I think when it comes to letting children go someplace, I know with girls, I think the mother is the one that is more likely to stop them, but I think when it comes to doing things around the house and obeying your parents, I think the father is the more dominant person.
Think he's more likely to be a boss than a mother?
I think so. I think that, well, if the mother's having trouble, I think that the father will step in
and help out.
Yeah.
So the mother says, if you don't do it, I'm going to tell your father. How do you figure it in this way, Sue? Do you think that in our life, the way things are, that boys have it better than girls, or would you say that girls have it better than boys?
Well, for a time I thought that boys had it easier, but then when I got to know some boys and I heard them talk, I say that I guess it's just about equal.
You mean neither one has it better than the other?
Mm.
You think that a boy would just as soon be a girl than be a boy?
No, I know. I wouldn't want to be a boy. I'm happy. I'm happy the way I am.
Well, if one is no different than the other, why not switch over if you, I mean, kind of, you know.
Well, when I say that they're not different, I mean the boys are different, but I don't think that they probably have different problems, but I don't think that they're any better or any worse than the problems that girls have. I think they at the end equal out.
What sort of problems would you think a boy might have?
Well, when it comes to girls, this is what I've heard anyway, that they're afraid to ask a girl out, that she might say no, and then their pride is hurt, and or they're afraid that a girl wouldn't like them. And
do you think you would rather be in a position of asking a boy to go out, or would you rather be asked?
I don't know. Sometimes I wish I could ask, and sometimes doesn't bother me.
Do you think that girls do kind of ask boys to go out with them?
Some girls.
What do you think of that?
Well, in the society that we live in, I don't think that it's really accepted. Like if a girl calls up a boy, like this boy said to me, well, you can call me up, you know, what is this that girls can't call boys? But I feel that if a boy wants to talk to a girl, it's his place to call her. It's my opinion.
That in our society, the boy should do the calling?
I think so.
And what would it mean if the girl does the calling?
Well, I don't know. It depends. Some girls may like a boy, and it may just be that she's chasing him. And I don't think it's right. I feel that if a girl likes a boy, she should let nature take its course. I mean, she could let him know it in a little bit, but to start calling him and asking him to go places, I can't see that.
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't. It just seems awkward.
Just doesn't seem right that you should push it that hard. Huh? We were talking about mothers and fathers a while ago. What do you think that mothers would want most from their sons if they had sons?
Well, that they'd be honest and they'd know how to get along with other people. That they would treat girls decently, and that they would have common sense and in a lot of things.
How about if they have daughters? What would mothers want most for their daughters and from their daughters?
Well, that the daughter knows right from wrong, and that she knows how to get along with boys and how far to go, and that she's honest and that she can get along with other people.
What do you think fathers would want from daughters?
Well, I guess similar to what mothers would want, but I think that he would want his daughter to work in school and to come home with good marks.
Good marks. The father would be more likely to be interested in what the girl did in school.
I think so.
Supposing, Sue, your